Hi, welcome to this video. I want to show you a cool thing in Waveform version 9. It's much easier to work with multi-output instruments, including drum instruments or something like Contact. Not only can you set it up quicker, but you can save the whole setup and load it instantly when you want to use it again in the future. So I'm going to show you how that works. Now to get started, I'm going to show you multi-output drums. I'm going to use the MT Power Kit since it's free, so you can easily work along with this. This works the same way if you're using something like Easy Drummer, Superior Drummer, any of those kinds of things. So what I've done to prepare for this is I created the tracks that I want to have as individual outputs in my mixer. So I have kick, snare, hi-hat, toms, ride, crash, China. This is kind of makes sense for the MT Power Kit. You might also have something like overhead or room mics, things like that, depending on the setup. I've also loaded a basic MIDI groove here, so I've got something to play back after we get the setup going. Now, I'm going to, first of all, we'll drag in the MT Power Kit so you can hear it. So I'm just going to drag in from the plugin object. I'll select from the Manda Audio and put the MT Power Kit in. If I play this back, we should be able to hear it already. Now, for multi-out setups to work in Waveform, we need to put this in a rack. So the way to do that is to right-click and wrap this plugin in a new plugin rack, like this. And you'll see it's routed from my kick channel to my kick channel. Well, don't worry about this yet. The next thing we need to do is to drag this to all of these tracks where we want to use it. And we're going to copy it. So on a Mac, you'd hold down Option. It would be Alt if you're on a PC, and just drag it to each of these tracks. So we've got it installed on all of our tracks. Now, on the actual rack, you'll notice we've got it all set up where just the first two outputs are going to all these tracks. That's not what we need. So we have a clear wiring feature. This is brand new for Waveform 9. So if we go to Clear Wiring and clear all output wiring, it just disconnects all that junk, so we can now wire it up clearly. We also have a brand new feature that is perfect for this, which is Connect Wires. So if I click Connect Wires and connect outputs sequentially, it instantly wires up the rack exactly the way we want. So now we have the first left and right pair going to kick, and then to snare, and so on. That's it. I'm going to double click on the actual plugin and show you how to then assign these to the output. This will vary by the manufacturer's setup, but typically you go to the mixer for drum instruments, and for kick, we'll go to output 1. For snare, we'll go to output 2. These are stereo outputs, so output 2 will take us to this snare. Side stick is also snare, so we'll set that to output 2. Hi-hat we'll set to 3. The other hi-hat will also set to 3. Tom will set to 4, and to 4, and 4 for the other tom. Then we've got ride, which we'll set to output 6. And bell is also ride, so we'll set that to 6. And crash left and right, we'll set that to 7, and then we'll set this to 8. I'm not sure if that's exactly right, but that's the general idea. Once we have that done, now we can play this back, and it should, if we look at it in the mixer view, we'll start to see all of our individual cymbals coming up and our individual drums. And now we can start to mix. If I loop that, we can start to mix like you would normally mix normal multi-track drums. Now let's take it to the next level by putting all of this into a submix. If you set up drums, you'll often want it in a submix, so we can just do a shift select and select all the tracks, right click, and then create a new submix track containing, like this. And I'll click this. I've got F12 set to rename, so I'll hit F12. I'll rename this drums. Alternatively, you can click on this drum submix, click here, and put the name in there. Now we've got a submix, so we can control the overall volume or even add effects to the entire drum bus. We've created an entire drum bus. Now, how do we save this whole setup so we can reload it into our next project? Well, do a shift select across all of this stuff. And notice here we've got in properties, we've got create preset, whole track preset. So it says track drums. I'm going to do a preset demo. Then you can add tags. I have a multi-out tag that I like to use. I also have an empty power kit. You can add drums as a tag. These are recent tags that I've set up. This will make it easy to find this one. So then we've got that. I'll click OK. And it's now created that. If I want to go to a new project, so this is a completely blank project, and I want to reload that whole setup, I just go to the browser and then go to the search tab, and I'll search for my empty power kit with the tag. And here's the demo. This is the one I just saved. I have a preview of it. Just drag this in. I can add it as a track or as a clip. Actually, that mixed down little clip, it can add that in there as a stereo mix, but I want to add it as a track, and it brings up the whole setup. Here's the submix bus, all the tracks, everything is exactly as it was. If I go into the mixer, I've got the entire setup all ready to go. Tremendous flexibility, because once you're in the rack environment, of course, you could even add effects right in to the rack right in here, have an entire kind of mixed drum set ready to go in a multi-track environment. Great feature, really streamlines the workflow once you set these up for your virtual instruments. I think you're really going to have fun with this. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in another video very soon.